The Colts regular season kind of winding down. They got a trip ahead of them to play the Giants on Sunday. The Giants are a team trying to find their way into the playoffs. The Colts would like to stand in their way. We had a chance to talk to head coach Jeff Saturday about the challenges ahead on Sunday and what his perspective is moving forward.
All right, ruling out Ash, Kylan, and Kenny for Sunday and getting ready for the trip to New York. So good week of practice. Excited about the opportunity.
Jeff, do you think that Kylan or really Kenny, is there a chance they play again this season? Because we haven't seen Kylan in a while specifically.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, they're all trending in the right direction. So battling to get back. Kylan was close, and all of them. You know, we had hoped to get him back, but unfortunately it didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, he's pushing hard, and he wants to be on the field. There's no doubt.
Jeff, well, what has the effort been consistent in your eyes? Because you always worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Especially you get eliminated. What did you notice in practice?
No, it was yesterday was a rather intense practice. In all honesty, guys were getting after each other pretty good, and the competition was really good. So when you look at these guys, man, they're still leaving it all out there. They're fighting and battling and trying to get better, working at their craft. So no, as far as that stuff is going, these guys they've pursued and persevered even through the worst of it.
What's that tell you about something? What's in your life?
I love the makeup. Right, again, results have not been nearly what I wanted. I love the makeup. I mean, these guys are about it, and you appreciate that in situations like this. And the guys don't have any back down, and they're fighting through it because, to your point, it can get it can get tough during these times, especially hearing from outside, everything that comes on, whether it's family, agents, you name it, right? The whole world kind of coming in at you. But I thought these guys have been really single-minded in their attack of it, and I've been appreciative of it.
It's too late to do something substantial in offense to change.
Yeah.
You're without a big piece in JT. How do you get something going? Do you simplify? Do you?
Yeah, and we have, and we continue to try to find ways, right, to create, whether it's big shots down the field or, Zach did a great job running it last week and getting that rotation going and trying to, find an explosive play in the run game. But to your point, I mean, when I got here, there's nothing you can really do to change who you are at that point. So, we're running with what we've had and what they installed at the beginning of the season and trying to make the most of it. Unfortunately, there have been plays that have been there that we haven't made, and then there's been times when there hadn't been a whole lot there and we've made a bad situation worse. So those are the details that we go back over and try to work through, but that's what we're trying to get honed in.
How much do you think another week in practice just helps Nick Foles?
As far as just his rhythm with the receivers, it's tremendous. I mean, listen, the guys, he's come in and done it, and I'm excited to see his next shot at it. And again, obviously, the other night wasn't what he wanted, none of us. But you continue to push, and again, he's a tough-minded guy who's been through ups and downs, and so I have no doubt that he'll respond well Sunday.
What have you seen from Will Fries since he got here?
He's getting better every week, but I love his heart and his drive. Every time you look at him when he does make a mistake and you get after him, he's one of those guys that he looks down and you can clearly see it because he's one of those guys that flushes pretty well. So when you get on him, he's red, he's hot, he's angry, but then he corrects himself pretty well. I mean, he's one of those guys that you don't have to correct him twice on the same thing. Again, this coming at him fast, not a lot of expectation. He was going to play a lot this year, and so he's been playing catch up. But I love that you're not having to correct and retrain over and over. That he kind of takes it, uses those experiences, and grows from them.
Jeff, what do you see out of Daniel Jones? Like, numbers on the page don't really jump off, but obviously what he's doing is successful and performing. The results are there.
Oh, listen, he's made a huge leap this season, protecting the football, making sure he's not making the error, and then making explosive plays, whether it's with his arm or with his legs. He's extending drives, sustaining drives. But I think you're seeing, with Daboll and the way that they're trying to get their offense going, it's make sure we stay in phase. And he does a really good job of keeping them in sustained drive. They're not afraid to go 13, 14 play drives, kick a field goal, or if they get stopped, punt it, and trust their defense. I mean, I think the mental toughness of this football team is what jumps off the tape to me, because you just see they're not going to beat themselves, and that starts with your quarterback protecting the ball.
Would you like to get back to rotation or running back, or do you kind of?
Yeah. No. I mean, I think that helps us. So as much as we can. Obviously, Zach played extremely well the other night. I think he was averaging over 5 yards a carry. I don't know exactly what he was, but he was running it pretty good. So, but yeah, rotation, running back by committee is the way that we talked about it when JT went down. That doesn't change. It's just who gets the opportunities at the time.
Jeff, this is more of a big picture question, and probably something you talked about when you were at ESPN. The league has really got hot with the passing game the last couple of years. That's how teams have won in the playoffs. And I know where you played, where you made your bones in this league, and this team is built around, in a lot of ways, the running back. What are your big picture thoughts on how that's changed the last couple of years, and how this team specifically is built now that you've been?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think this team was built around a solid running game first. I mean, I think when Matt came in and what the expectation was that this offense was going to go through JT, and that's how we're built, right? To go through that run game and then let play action and everything else kind of lead off of it. I think from a league perspective, it's I think explosive plays are still happening in the passing game, but with mobile quarterbacks and playing 11 on 11, that allows for those big shots because you have to play man behind it because that quarterback can pull it down. Very similar to what we're facing the Giants this weekend, right? Daniel Jones can hurt you just as much pulling it and going running for 15 as he can dumping it off for 15. So I think all of those things has kind of been the trend of the league, and that's why offenses are kind of getting both or getting 50-50 from explosive plays.
Jeff, we talked with Brian Kelly yesterday. He was talking about the nuances of snapping to a new guy and how it's not as easy as it looks. It's not just snapping to.
He has snapped to a bunch. I don't know how many he snapped to, but my man has snapped to a lot.
So, in that same vein, how do you, I guess, expedite that learning curve when you're, stepping in with a guy who hadn't snapped to? I think they said they had one snap before, like, actually doing the game.
Yeah. I think when I think from the center quarterback position, it's much more about cadence and anticipation of each other. And so having those conversations throughout the week of, hey, are you going to slow down on this play to wait to see how this develops? If we have a motion or if we have something happening, or are you trying to quick snap it? So from a center's perspective, you can feel when you're under, when you're in gun, but when you're back and you're just hearing the voice, it's harder to anticipate those things. So it's all those conversations leading into games that I think are so important, making sure that you know how he's envisioning it, and that way you can anticipate from a center perspective what he wants.
That's Jeff Saturday. This is a tough job. Being the head coach of a team that is 4-10-1 and trying to figure out where it's going to sit in the draft slotting while you're trying to motivate a guy and a bunch of guys to go out and play on Sunday. Really, really difficult. And it seems like Jeff Saturday is the kind of personality, a unique personality, who's going to do that pretty well.